Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Hope you are well. I just need to do a little sound check and make sure it's coming through online. I'm not quite sure if it is. Seems very delayed. All good, sound is perfect. Brilliant. Excellent. Right, yeah, okay, let's get to it. Unfortunately this evening we're going to have to start with a little bit of bad news. As you can see, we are watching Darren Baldwin, aka TC Idol. He's sporting a different livery tonight in honour and memory of his friend Phil, aka Grim99 online. Unfortunately, Phil seems to have gone through a terrible loss recently with a very close family member of his. Our hearts and thoughts go out to himself, obviously, and all of those concerned and involved, family and friends, etc. It's a horrible thing to go through. A little bit teared up myself there, sorry. But yeah, I mean, in the racing community and car community, it's nice to look out and feel for each other and make sure you're there for one another, really. So yes, there you go, Phil. And Darren's sporting the livery in memory of Jackie for tonight. So there you go. And obviously I think there might be other drivers amongst the pack tonight, I'm not quite sure. Myself, I did download the sticker on Friday when I was racing in my other league. I made sure I put it on both of my cars. I do imagine throughout the night we might see it on other vehicles too. Mark Palmer mowing the grass. So yes, nonetheless, let's continue with the evening. Okay, so you are here tonight live for round 2 at Willow Springs International Motorsport Park, aka Big Willow. This is going to be the way up, mowing the grass. This is a brilliant track for fun and games. It's quite a favourite of myself. But yes, okay, so you've got basically 2.5 miles of a racetrack that was made in 1953. Well, sorry, 1952 construction began. The first race was from 23rd of November in 53, and I believe, reading online, it tells us that the racetrack hasn't actually been changed. So the layout, or any layout that you see, will have been from back in the day, and people haven't changed it. So this is a true through and through nail-biting gritty course. As you can see, it's pretty wide in certain areas, but there's no barriers, there's nothing to save you. So if you're coming off, you're coming off. You can't really put half a tyre off the tarmac because you don't even want to run the risk. If you spit it on this track, it's going to take you a while to get back on the track also. And watch out for turn 9, that's the last turn. Throughout the night you'll probably learn which turn's which and where we are, etc. But like I say, turn 9 is pretty much flat out, and you've got to take it as fast as you can to get as much speed as you can down the start finish straight into turn 1. I must admit I've come off there more than a handful of times, probably more than 2 handfuls to be honest, 3, 4 maybe. Yeah, if you ask any other driver as well, they've probably done the same. But I've had some of the best races of my life around here. I've had some really good action, there's some really good replays knocking around somewhere, and I'm pretty sure tonight you're going to see lots and lots of fun, lots of it. We do have a couple of new drivers tonight. We'll probably run through the grid in a minute, and we'll also run through the championship points board, because from last week you had Big in 86, aka Andy White, finishing the race by lapping people and doing a really good job of what a race driver should do. So he's clear at the top of the board with 51 points. Then you've got Mr. Baldwin here on TV, TC Idol. He's on 45 points. Behind him is Nick Sargent on 40, and we've got Hutchinson, he's on 37 points. Hillman's 35, Doug Idle Racing 33, M Watts 30, Mark Palmer 28, Mark McCabe 26, Josh Hardy 24, and Craigie 22. So the points board is pretty close, obviously, as you can see. There's only 2, 3, 4 points between each driver. So, I mean, for the first 1, 2, 3 races of any season, you really want to put your best performance in and try and get as many points as you can, because points mean prizes. And the more clear you can get, the quicker, and it's even better. It's more of a guarantee that you're going to be fine, because sometimes you can have a bad race as well. Where's that just gone? So, grid order for tonight. Okay, some people, I may pronounce the name wrong, I do apologise. Also, some people I haven't got the PSN names for just yet, the screen names you might see above them. So, grid order. First name missing, I can't find it. Downey, surname, can't find his PSN name either. Then we've got Mr. Redding, he's a new driver. PSN Skytanic, I'm not actually sure if he's in here yet. No, he's not there. Actually, yeah, who's in the lobby? Is everybody here? Oh, yes. Yeah, it's quite a lot. Okay. That guy Joe, don't know who that is, didn't see him last week. Scott Fenton, he missed last week. I'm not sure if something happened at work or home, perhaps he had a late shift or whatever. He didn't appear last week, but he's appeared this week, so should be some good racing, because Scott is very fast, so I imagine Andy and Scott are going to have some good battles. Provided everybody stays on the track, this is. You never really know what's going to happen around here. It's quite good fun. Then we've got... so grid order was Downey, Redding, Sorden starting in 3rd. Scott Fenton is starting in 4th. Craigie, Stealth Racer, he's starting in 5th. Josh Hardy is starting in 6th. Marky Mark on the screen is starting in 7th. Mark Palmer starting 8th. M. Watt starting 9th. Doug Idle 10th. Jamie, he's starting 11th from last week. Well, this is all, I think it's reverse order from finish, I'm not quite sure actually. Yeah, I think it is. Hutchinson, the Unforgiven 123, he's starting from 12th. Nick Sargent, he managed to get up to 3rd place last week, and I've just got no idea of how that happened. I think he had some kind of magic turbo button fitted to his vehicle maybe. Darren Baldwin starting back at 14th, and Andy White starting back at 15th, big in 86. So yeah, I'm quite excited for tonight, to be honest with you. It's going to be very interesting. Last week there seemed to be the start of the race in a few laps, everybody was a little bit excitable and whatnot. We saw a few bumps and nudges here and there, but that happens, it's racing. Like I say, hopefully today, I'm just hoping everybody stays on the track and we see some really good action. Really good. Right, race start. I'm assuming it's 8 o'clock again. Red Sky is Reading, so there you go. Yours. Wrong name. I got the wrong name there. Sorry guys. So second edition Reading. His name on screen will be Red Sky. Just write that down. Beautiful. So yeah, right, who's on track, who's going round? So obviously these guys are practicing, messing around, probably getting plenty of practice in. Tyre choice is going to be a good one on this track, because I remember using mediums and they didn't seem to last long at all. And then I used hard, but I lost a lot of cornering speed. This was last season in a different club I was racing in. So Scott Fenton's not longer than. What vehicle is he using? He's in a Porsche. Lovely livery as well. Mark Palmer 86. In that Mercedes that looks like it's been through a bus stop. Bit of damage at the front. Doug Idle Racing. I still have not tried this Corvette, and the mileage is still astronomical on it, so he hasn't bought a new one in the meantime. He's still using his good old Corvette. I might write the mileage down and see how many miles he does in it. Nothing there, right, so we have not got long till the start. Not long at all. Bit of drifting there from Josh, not major. Let's have a look at the cars again. Oh, so we've got a BMW on the grid tonight. BMW M6. Yeah, that wasn't there last week. Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to. It's not a track I'm a very big fan of. I've not put many miles into it, and I can't really recommend what kind of vehicle you want to be driving in it. I don't know if the Porsche might shine around here with it being mid-engine or rear-engine compared to the others. So TC idle in practice at the minute is 0.385 of a second quicker than Scott. Scott is 0.581 of a second quicker than Mark Palmer. Again, this is only practice, guys. You don't even know if anybody's pushing yet. Pigian, 0.3 of a second behind Mark Palmer. It's a race winner from last week, winning by a very big mile. That guy Joe, I'm going to assume that's the other new bloke, Mr. Downey. So it could be Joe Downey. Oh, see, in the gravel. Also last week we saw a few incidents where drivers were not scrubbing their penalties. Like we say, I'm pretty sure it should be scrubbed on the start straight finish and get out of other drivers' way, because sometimes when the car in front has got a penalty and they're going into a bend, and if you're in close quarters to them, they can sometimes ghost if they lock up their brakes, and it can be very off-putting for the driver behind. And there we go, Mr. Hammer Games has started the final. Good luck, chaps. Round 2. Willow Springs International Motorsports Park. 1 hour of pure motorsport battling. Hopefully. Rolling start. Aston Martin leading the pack. Go! Nice line. Everybody drafting each other. Turn 1. Looks good. Looks good so far. Very good. That guy Joe going a little bit wide there, perhaps trying to get a good line on the exit. Oh, touch that gravel. Told you, don't put half a tyre on it. Don't even think about putting a tyre near it, because you will be backwards. Bit of contact there from Scott Fenton. Somebody came off there as well. Let's have a quick look at the back, see what happened. Seems to be 2 drivers right towards the rear. TC Idle and the Unforgiven. That's Willow for you. Hey, oh, this is going to be entertaining into turn 1. Scott on the inside lines. Oh dear. Josh completely sideways into the gravel. Fluffed it. He's backwards. I think Josh is going to be coming out at the back of the pack there. Scott Fenton in the Porsche pulling away. 1.2 seconds. Red Sky's fast, he's a good driver. Remember guys, you've got an hour. Ooh, wow. Fruity. Penalty there on Biggin. See, that's the other problem as well. If you're having a 3-wide battle and you get pushed off, it can result in penalties. This track is really horrific. Doug Idle. This is all we're going to see. Keep seeing cars and cloud of dust. 0.7. He's going to scrub that on the start straight. Joe, stealth racer. Plug idle. So TCR and the Unforgiven seem to have closed the gap a little bit. Somebody's come off. Why can't I get to that car? Red Sky 86 came off on the last band there. It's a very unforgiving track, you don't want to be messing around on here. Scott Fenton, 3.2 seconds, pulling away from the Hammer Games. Again, must have a turbo button somehow. Behind him, 1 second, Mark Palmer in the Mercedes. Mark, 4th. Nice even gaps between those guys there. Packed evened out a little bit. That's a bit close there. Lovely series of bends, this one. I really do enjoy that. It's probably the only section I do enjoy. Downhill, into here, hard left, hard right, and flat out, all the way to the end. Well, the last turn. Josh all the way at the back from contact or a spoon, maybe an incident, we won't know till the end. Obviously, like on YouTube, like on Facebook, like Elder Sim Racing, and you will find out exactly what you need to know, all the bits and bobs that you don't know, incidents, results. Red Sky 86, what a good year to be born. There's lots of people in here from 86, that's great. TC Idle, back in the action, don't know what happened there. TC Idle, sizing up dog. I think he squeezed it, Can he keep it? Yeah, he's got it. Oh, slowed him down a little bit there, I think he was on a good line. Stealth racer. Joe, Unforgiven. Stealth racer in 8th. Followed by TC Idle, who's going to be hungry to get back up to the front somehow. He always likes being up there. So, that's great. We're doing pretty well, to be honest. I expected a little bit more chaos than that. Obviously, there's still plenty of time to go. 54.5 minutes. Scott Fenton, 3-second gap. Hammer Games. Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that gap slightly bigger before? Has he closed it a little bit there, Mr. Sergeant? Biggin, 4.3 seconds behind. Yeah. Mark Palmer, 1.4. He's holding his own. Mark in the Mitsubishi. Beautiful. I love that livery. So there you go. Quick nip up to the front. So Scott Fenton, 2.4 seconds now. That's quite interesting. I'm wondering if Mr. Hammer Games is on the hunt here. But Scott is on the mediums, so he's going to close the gap. Give that a lap or two, we might end up having a little battle going on at the front for first position. Biggin doesn't seem to be catching Nick at the minute. Again, he's on mediums. Nick's on super soft. Mark Palmer's on super soft. 2 seconds behind Andy White. Mark and Mark Palmer are having a right little so one's race super soft and the other one's race soft. Similar fuel amount. Just have a look on board. Oh no, can't do it. Something's broken. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I don't understand what's going on there. I can't seem to change the camera. I really wanted to get on board there. Odd. Oh, can do that way. So Marky Mark, race soft and super soft. Turn 1, Castrol corner. Turn 2, the Rabbit's Ear. It's nice to stay out nice and wide where Mark Palmer was there and tuck back in nice and tight this side. The 50 metre board is missing for the braking zone, so that might put drivers off a little bit. Edge of the seat stuff this is, like I say. Oh! Josh has left the room. Don't think Josh had a very good night. Sometimes it can do that to you. It's best to turn it off sometimes and just carry on with something else. So here we go, turn 9, very difficult. Tuck it in, needs to be a bit tighter around there, otherwise nice. Very good, okay. Let's have a look and see what's happening with Mr. Hammer Games and Scott Fenton. So the gap is still 2.3, so it's still thereabouts. It's not closed it that much. That front left tyre is suffering a lot around this track. Scott Fenton. Tyres are suffering a bit. Mediums though. Obviously going to go twice as long as the super soft, I reckon, looking at that. Again, the gap seems to have increased behind, up to Nick, sorry, 6 seconds. Race mediums seem a little bit more worn than Scott Fenton's. It might be the difference in vehicle, to be honest. Different vehicles abuse the tyres differently and fuel. Mark Palmer, 2.8 behind Biggin. With Marky Mark 602 still sitting in his draft. Good plan really, because you can save fuel sitting behind somebody. Unforgiven, plodding along in 6th. Nice gap behind him, very nice gap, but could that be closed? TC Idle has come all the way back up now to 7th. Amazing job there, brilliant. 2 seconds behind him and Doug Idle racing now. Oh, now that, look at that, racing hard, ladies and gentlemen, hard tyres, and they are wearing exceptionally well. Fuel's down considerably. Stealth Racer, super softs, front left, oh, nearly half worn. That guy Joe on hards as well, and his BMW, good car choice. Wearing very well, fuel very low compared. Red Sky race soft, so he's just been into the pit. Missed that, sorry ladies and gentlemen. Back up to Scott Fenton here on mediums with 1.8 seconds behind him to the Hammer Games now. Nick's front left tyre is half chewed. The gap from Nick to Andy White seems to have increased a bit. Medium. Let's have a quick look at the tyre choices. So you've got first position running medium, Nick Hammer Games running super soft, Andy White running medium, Mark Palmer super soft. Note the tyre wear of these as we're looking at them as well. So we've got softs there, softs again, softs just been into the pit, no fuel that time. Doug Idle racing on hard. So we've got super soft, hard, so there's two drivers on the hard tyre choice. Very interesting, because looking at the wear on them, obviously looking at first position, look at the mediums, it's probably 25% worn on the passenger front left. Then if you look at Doug Idle Racing on the hard, considerably less wear. So I think people may have been playing around with fuel and tyre strategies in between last week's race and this week's. Always good to do so. And looking at the map on the top right, everyone seems pretty spaced out at the moment, apart from the Unforgiven and TC Idle. Because TC Idle has just passed him. Oh, no, pitted. The Unforgiven pitted, sorry. So yeah, this is now a battle for TC Idle to keep his position. Marky Mark 602 has just come out of the pits. He's had race softs, no fuel. Aaron's really pushing them tyres. And then the Unforgiven, he's obviously going to sail away a little bit because he's on fresh rubber. But you don't want to be doing that and putting that tyre on that gravel, because you'll be backwards. So there's a little bit of a battle going on here. I imagine Darren's going to be into the pits anytime soon. Not sure about the fuel strategy though. I'll put to first in a minute because we want to see that gap. 1.4, ladies and gentlemen, so this could be intriguing. Hammer into the pits for a set of super softs, so we can close that gap. Let's have a ride with Scott Fenton. Turn 1, nice and tight to the apex, not too tight because you don't want to risk anything around here. Nice tidy line, staying off the pebbles of rubber on the left. Nice and tight. Bit of a drop into third for a bit more power. Just after the 50 board, well, what would have been the 50 board, that's probably where I brake. Second. Nice and steady around here. The grip around this corner is terrible, your car just slides away from underneath you. Flat out, off the power on the brake, yeah, beautiful. On the right hand side, I've been in that many a times on that side of the track, it's beautiful there. I've had a picnic a few times. And then you flat out all the way down here. Keep left, tuck it right. Flat, flat, flat. Now, he's going to have to brake a little bit more than usual because of his tyre condition. And obviously, fuel, weight makes a big difference to a car. Oh, come on, come on, come on. He's got it. Oh, I thought he had that. I thought he had that, but he didn't have it. So, there you go. Scott Fenton. 13.7 seconds clear. But he's just had a terrible accident. He must be okay because he's accelerating away from it, and there is the Hammer Games in front. Fresh tyres for Nick and a full tank of juice. So Scott Fenton has now got damage and it's gone. Oh, that's good. Sometimes you have to go in the pit to get rid of it. I think it might be time for some fresh tyres for Mr. Fenton maybe. So now, that is bunched up first, second and third quite a bit. The Unforgiven. He's been steaming along. People must have been pitting. Yeah, people have been pitting. He's been steaming along consistently and now he's in third with a 10-second gap behind him. Closing in on Scott Fenton, but obviously Scott might be pitting any time now. First, second, third. Just stay with these guys, see if anything happens with the pits. Obviously Hammer Games won't be pitting. Interested if Scott is, because that'll then mean we've got Nick Sargent first, and the 1, 2, 3 Unforgiven. Mr. Hutchinson will be second, but no, he stayed out. Okay, fair enough. Suppose he can squeeze another more lap or two more out of that. Obviously, he might actually finish his fuel off and then pit, maybe so. Perhaps if he does a little bit of defending to the Unforgiven, he might be able to save himself a bit more time when he comes back out of the pit, if you get what I mean. So yeah, the Unforgiven 10.5 seconds behind him to Mark Palmer. Driving quite consistently, he's been into the pit, he's holding 4, he's got a good gap behind him to Andy White in the Lexus of Love. fresh racing soft, no fuel. And then behind him, TC Idle, Darren Baldwin, 4.7 seconds. He's got a full tank and a fresh set of tyres now, so he just needs to get his head down and get some laps in. Behind him is Doug Idle Racing, who I believe still hasn't pitted. Stealth Racer, 12 seconds behind Doug in the Aston Martin. I do love that colour grey. I might have to paint my car that colour one day. That guy Joe, 21.5 seconds behind Stealth Racer in the BMW. Nice livery, it's almost digital camo. Bit of lag there, not sure about internet connection, could be mine, not sure. He's being harassed by Red Sky 86. But Joe's on super softs and the fresh tank of fuel. He's going to be sailing away at some point. So 10 drivers remain. Hammer Games out in front, racing soft, just above 3/4 of a tank. 2.9 second, pulling away, slowly but surely, and that's what you need. Unforgiven, steaming along, nearly out of fuel. Scott Fenton doing well, I suppose. He's doing good on fuel and tyre. He's going to run that car low on fuel and pit for both, I reckon. Unless he comes in now. Let's have a goosey gander. Yeah, he's in. Wonder what tyre he comes out on. I wonder if he's thought about the hard tyre option. Under consideration. I was quite surprised at the grip level you get with the hard tyre. Usually used to use softs and super softs, and then I started using medium and hard, and I thought, wow, it's actually pretty good. Scott Fenton comes out on softs. Got just over a half a tank of fuel. Comes out in fourth. Closing that gap on Mark Palmer. Porsche versus Mercedes. Neat and tidy through there from a pair of them. Scott plays it right, he can just follow him around until he gets to the... oh, actually I was quite intrigued in that. I was looking at the corner names of this track. So, turn 7. Well, this section here, which Mark and Scott are coming up to now, is actually called the Repass Pass. I imagine that's because you can overtake people in section 1 and 2, and then section 3, if you just sit behind them and follow them correctly, you'd just be able to sail past. But, as of yet, Scott is waiting to make the move. Coming down the start straight. See it, getting his boot, pull out. Oh, that was lovely. Great driving there, brilliant. Brilliant from both of them, nice and clean. And it's a bit of a sad story sometimes when the driver comes past you, but you've got to try and think of their situation. They might prefer this track to you, they might have a better suited car for this track to you, they could be on a better tyre option than you. It's best sometimes to let that driver past. If you can have a battle with them, then go for it. Every driver loves a good battle, but if somebody's clearly going to come steaming past you, sometimes it's better to let them go rather than cause incidents perhaps, or contact on a bend, etc. Again, it can end up in a penalty. Scott back up to third. Let's have a quick look at Nick and then we'll run through the grid. So he's pulled 3.1 seconds. The gap seems to be... that's increasing again now. So yeah, Nick out in front. Race soft. 25% worn on the front left. Can't believe the difference in tyre wear from side to side on these vehicles. So 3 seconds to the Unforgiven, who's just gone in the pit, so that's Scott Fenton back up to second. 13.6 seconds behind Hammer Games. Both on softs. Scott's got less fuel but more tyre. Nick's got more fuel, but wow, this is going to be fun. So Mark Palmer, 2.6 seconds behind Scott, with a second to Andy behind him. And what have we got here? We've got... oh, Andy's hardly got any fuel. might get another lap out of that. I'm not too sure. So I don't think he'll be ready to pounce on Mark Palmer unless Mark slips up somehow. You never know. Anyway, so Biggin, 6 seconds to TC Idle. He's coming up. He is coming up in that Jaguar. He's doing very well. Race soft. Once again, he's gone back in for full tank and another set of tyres. There are some very big gaps around this track. So then all the way back to 7th position, it's 15 seconds to Doug. Oh, he's come off. Doug Idle's in the grass, in the desert, shall we say. Oh yeah, I've been off there before. Yeah, I understand that bit. It's horrible. Most of it's horrible. So, less than quarter of a tank. That front left tyre is not even 50% worn yet, ladies and gentlemen. So, who's the other guy on hards? Joe. And he's in the gravel as well. And that's the little bit I was warning you folks about earlier. I've been in there many a times with my picnic basket. So he's changed from hard and gone on super soft. I really think that this hard strategy might pay off. We've got to keep it on the track. Doug Idle Racing. Okay, so behind Doug, 2.5 seconds to stealth race it. Behind him, 26 seconds nearly to Joe. He's come off again. He's going in the pit. Yeah, go in the pit. Get some new tyres. Yeah, just get some new tyres. May as well do. 30 seconds. Obviously he's just going to go past. Scott Fenton's lapping people. The game is ghosting. So I thought he had a penalty then, guys, but he clearly hasn't. He's just ghosting for lapping of the cars. Keeps it safer. That guy Joe running last. Gone back onto the hards, full tank. So if he was on hards to start with, he only had a very short stint on super soft. And if there's an hour's worth of racing, I think I'd be going for the hards or the mediums. Have a quick look back up at the front at Hammer Games in first. 8-second gap to him and Scott. That front left tyre is nearly 50% worn. Touch of the gravel there from Nick. Race soft. Oh, another dropout. We've had another dropout. Could be an internet connection problem. That guy Joe was in the BMW, I believe. He just put on a set of hards. I thought he was going to go for a long stint there. I'm a firm believer in just carrying on with the race, because you never know if Nick's going to spin out at any second now, and anything can happen at the end of the day. It's a race. So there you got, race leader, 7.3 seconds. I think that gap is slightly closing. Scott might be trying to hunt him down. And I think he's going to do it, to be honest with you. He's got the lighter vehicle because he's got less fuel, perhaps. Well, he should have, because he's got balance of performance on with these races, I believe, which kind of sets the weights for the vehicles. Sets everything else similar to make it more fair. Joe. Right, there we go. Just had a message in the message system for the ESR that says, Joe Sorden, the Wi-Fi has not been working properly for me. I've had to leave. So there you go, he's had internet connection issues. Which, I think I was having internet issues last weekend. That's right, you're down to 9, sorry. So, start from the back this time. Red Sky 86. Not seen him race before. New to the endurance tonight, round 2. So, 9th position, 13 seconds in front of him. The Stealth Racer. What's going on here? What is going on here? Doug's off again. Race mediums. He's been in the pit and he's come off. This track is very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. Hopefully he can snap himself out of the short period of depression the driver experiences through a bad section or a spin and just crack on. It's putting him back out roughly about 4.5–5 seconds maybe behind Red Sky after that spin. But he's on brand new tyres, quite a bit of fuel, similar fuel to Red Sky. So 12.3 seconds in front of him is Stealth Racer. 42 seconds in front of him is Big in 86, Andy White. Kind of fresh tyres, kind of fresh fuel. Should get quite a good few laps in there if there's no issues. TC Idle in 5th. Super soft. If you drive the super soft tyre right, you can get quite a lot of time out of it, but it's perfection. You've really got to be perfect every lap and have very minimal tyre squealing to get the most out of them super softs. Be interesting to see how many more laps you can do on them. Then 3 seconds in front of Darren. TC Idle is the Unforgiven. He's on the softs. 3/4 of a tank. Nice through there. You've got to be so delicate through that section. Slightest wrong part and you're off. Coming into the final bend. Will he make it round? On the brake into it. Yep, he's round it. Plenty of distance to the side of the track. That's what you need. Then 5 seconds in front of that, and in front of the Unforgiven is Mark Palmer 86. Again, he's just consistently ploughing along, driving the car. Race soft, 50% worn on the front left. Not a lot of fuel. He's going to be in this lap or next lap probably. So that might. So we're going to have a similar situation with 2nd and 3rd position here. Got the same amount of fuel. And then the Hammer Games. Oh, so Nick's nearly 5 seconds out in front, followed by Scott. Nick's tyres are absolutely hammered. Absolutely hammered. He's got to be in this lap. See, he's suffering with them tyres. Yeah, he's in. He's in. Right. Scott stayed out. No, he didn't, sorry. Scott went in the pit. Wonderful. Battle of the pit stops. And Mr. Palmer stays out. Interesting. Your new leader, Mr. Mark Palmer 86. Hammer Games coming out and he's just going to floor it. Scott Phantom, where did he come out? Super Softs, full tank, came out 5th. 4 seconds behind TC Idle. TC Idle half a tank, Super Softs. He might be able to keep out in front of Scott. So, Nick, Super Softs, Racing Soft, sorry, full tank. He's going to try and go some distance with that now. Just under 30 minutes remaining. Quite a few pit stops already. Like I say, this track hammers the car. It really does. It hammers the car and the driver. You have to be concentrating 100%. So he's gone from a second to 1.3 seconds pulling away. So he's on the game. I know what he's going for it. Mr. Palmer is going to run out of fuel, so he's going to come in the pit now. He's going to come out mid-pack. Wow. The Unforgiven. I reckon he's suffering with them tyres a little bit. Seem to be sliding quite wide into that bend. Staying out. Palmer's into the pit. What compound will he choose? I think he's going for a lot of fuel. So will he come out in front of Stealth Racer? Yeah, of course he will. There you and that was a full tank. I'm sure they take longer to fill my tank up when I'm racing. Starting from the back. Red Sky 86. He's gone for soft, just under half a tank. But there is a really big gap between him and Doug. Doug Idle's gone for mediums. I must have missed you pitting there, mate, sorry. Race medium, half a tank. I don't think the fuel's going to last long in that Corvette, let's face it. Oh, not again, he's off again. Has he got it? Has he got... Oh. Sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. So, Doug's off again. Stealth Racer. 3/4 of a tank. Race soft, 20% worn. TC Idle in the pit. And that puts TC Idle out in front. Full tank, race soft. That'll be a long stint. Ooh. Big Ian's front left tyre is nearly half worn. Everybody seems to go for a pretty soft compound. Let's have a quick look. So, Hammer Games, 7.5 seconds out in front. Well done, sir. In fact, we'll have to have a little onboard journey with him, shall we? Let's see how he's driving. Nice and wide. Keep it out. I normally stay out a bit wider there. Lovely, lovely. And he can't see anybody in his mirror, or somebody. Just about. That's going to be Scott, 7 seconds behind. Oh, somebody's off. Big Ian going in the pit. So, back to a section of corner they call Omega. Nice and wide, late on the brake, tuck it in tight, keep it tight. That's it, and then tight again. Off the power, roll it in. Roll it down the bank, go. Lovely. On the brake, down a gear. Beautiful. Nice and close to that apex there. Flat out. See a car in the distance, he's going to be lapping, it's possibly Doug. 6.8 seconds, so Scott's closed it slightly. Into the last turn. Nice and tight. Yes! Just touch that curb on the way in. Lovely. I think he got a good run that. What's going on here? Scott Fenton's off. On the super softs with a lot of fuel. And into the pit. Filling his tank up. Second position now, 19.2 seconds behind Nick Sargent, the Hammer Games. And then 1.5 seconds behind him is TC Idle, ploughing along, putting them laps in, being consistent. Every little boy's dream, sort of. Bit of gravel there from Big Ian. TC Idle can smell them exhaust fumes, and he wants some of them. Lots of gravel here from Big Ian, lots of it. I hope he's not feeling the pressure. Chill. As we come along to the last section. Megan's keeping that gap similar between him and TC Idle at the minute. Into the last turn. Nice through there. Down following him. Close the gap slightly. If TC Idle can just get a little bit closer, he'll start to slipstream Big Ian, save fuel and increase his speed. What tyres were they both on? got Big in 86, Andy White on the soft, Darren on the same. Big In's got the lighter car because he's got less fuel. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's faster. It can be off-putting for drivers, lighter vehicles. Darren's desperately going to be trying to catch him up here. Lovely. Lovely. Nice line through there. Nice exit. Come off the steering quick as you can. As soon as you're coming out of the bend, get off the steering. If you don't need the steering, you don't need it. It slows you down. So come off. Nice and wide into the last turn. Down a gear. Nice and tucked in. Beautiful. Beautiful. 1.5 seconds. Biggin's doing a good job of keeping him at bay. He's going to see him in his mirror, and he knows he means business. And behind that, in 4th position, he seems to have gained one, is Scott Fenton on the medium tyre. Might be a case of just trying to get the consistent laps in now and just finish the race, because like I say, this track is horrific. Out onto the rubbery pebbly bits. Nice and tight. Lovely. Just after what was the 50 board there. That's it. Good, good, good. Tricky corner, very tricky corner to get it perfect. Lovely. So, 5 seconds in front of Scott to TC Idle. 3.5 seconds behind Scott is Mark Palmer, plodding along in the Mercedes. Race softs, just under 3/4 of a tank. 20 minutes to go. $155 miles an hour, 156 on the brakes. Nice, very nice. Very nice. Right then. Wrong button. To the back, Doug Idle Racing. He's caught quite a bit of time up there to Red Sky. He's been doing powering that Corvette along, using that fuel. He's got 1/4 of a tank left. Quite a bit of tyre left though. I wonder if he'll come in and perhaps go for a softer tyre now that there's only 20 minutes remaining. Red Sky's in the pit. That was a fuel, yeah. Probably would have gone a bit longer on the tyres if he had the fuel. There's Doug again. And there is a massive gap in front to the Unforgiven. 47.5 seconds in another Mercedes. Yeah. 1.7 seconds in front of him is Andy White in the Lexus of Love. Oh, bit of a twitch on the exit there. I think somebody's trying to close the gap on you, Mr. White. I reckon you might be getting any slipstream any time now. If the Unforgiven can get this first and second section out of the way, to perhaps the third section, which starts with repass pass, he might be able to get around him. Excuse me while I just remove my kitten from a plant pot, because he's stupid. So yeah, still got a second. He's got a lot more fuel though in that Mercedes. Should stick with him a minute, see what happens coming towards the turn 9, the turn of death. Keep getting these turn of deaths, don't we? No, gaps improve there. Biggin seems to have pulled away. Must have seen him coming in his mirror and thought, I better get the power down and get out there. Yeah, 1.7, 1.8. Seems to be steaming away. But there, if you look at the fuel difference, they're both on the same tyres. And in fact, if you notice, the wear on the tyres is pretty equal between the two drivers. But the fuel difference, which is going to make it really, really fast, well, a lot faster for Biggin, which is probably why he's pulling away. So there you go, there's fifth position, sorry. 1.3 seconds in front, Mark Palmer 86, again, ploughing along very consistently tonight, doing very well. He did very well last time as well. Half a tank of fuel, tyres not looking too good, not too shabby though. I believe Biggin's closing in for the pounce. Yeah, he's down to 1.1 now. See if Andy can get any closer to him after turn 9. Seems to be taking turn 9 quite efficiently, Andy does. Nice and wide, look. Oh, see, rescued it though. See, you can sometimes get away with it and rescue it. And Scott Fenton, again, I'm assuming another spin on that turn 9. It is the turn of death. It's almost as bad as the chicane of death on Dragon Tail Seaside on this game. So there you go. Andy White is in the boot of Mark Palmer, going for the overtake. Let's have a quick look on board. If Andy just takes his time here, nice and paced, gets a good exit here, and gets a good exit on this bend down here, he might be able to do something about this. I think Mark Palmer might have just hit the gas a little bit earlier than Andy there. And I mean a little bit, not much, but Andy seems to be in his slipstream if you notice the timers by the names, checking the gap between himself and Mark Palmer. Turn of death, very early on the brakes from Mark Palmer there. Both of them suffering with tyres. Now he's in the slipstream. Don't think he's gonna get it. Oh, he's gonna have to be so patient, he's got no fuel. Oh, right, he's just gonna have to do what he can. Got another lap in there. It would have been nice if you could have got around him, just for another lap. An extra lap, sorry, to be around him. Nice and wide, tuck it in tight on the power. That's the line you want. That is the line you want out of that bend. So you close the gap there on Mark. Beautiful. He's got no tyres left and no fuel. That car is going to be handling horribly, and he's doing a good job of driving it. He's all over the bumper of Mark Palmer. I reckon he's in the pits though. So Mark's going to get some more laps in. He's got plenty of tyre, well, not plenty of tyre left, but half the tyres, and he's got some fuel. Biggin was having a bit of a poke there, but these pair are braking differently than each other, and it can be a challenge to judge another driver. Oh, Biggin, gone. Squeezed past him somehow with no fuel. I hope he doesn't run out in a minute. Hammer Games, 26.5 seconds, no tyres left, and he's got fuel. Run it out of fuel, Nick, I'm sure you can do this. Biggin. No fuel and no tyres, but he's pulled a second over Mark. But again, Mark's just going to take that position back in a minute, because he's going to be staying out longer. But like I said before, Andy White's probably thinking about the time he can save himself coming out of the pit, because this time, if he stayed behind him now, if he was behind him currently and he pitted, it's more time when he comes out of the pit to generate, whereas he's got the time now because he's gone in front of the car. So he is going to save himself a little bit of time coming out. I know it sounds stupid, but it takes a lot of thought. Bit of a mistake there, second into third, TC Idle squeezing past easily. That was a big mistake there from Mark, tyres, etc. TC Idle's ploughing along. Biggin nice and wide again. I do like his lines around here. Into the pit. I reckon he might come out for softs. Softs in the 3/4 of a tank maybe. Scott Fenton's into the pit. And that's the full grid. Hammer Games has caught up and lapped Red Sky. I'm not sure, it might be the second time, I'm not sure. Easily pulling away, fresh tyres, lots of fuel. 15-second gap behind him and TC. Yeah, Nick's just got to crack on now. So this is in essence a Subaru versus a Jaguar. Nick, super soft. TC Idle's got plenty of fuel and he's gone for softs. Interesting, this is going to be good. Mr. Palmer's got to be pitting very soon. In fact, it might be time for Mr. Palmer just to go in for some super softs and get some fuel and come out and smash it. 6 seconds behind is the Unforgiven in fourth. 4 seconds behind is Scott Fenton in the Porsche. Unfortunately, has come off a couple of times around this last turn. Got it that time, nice exit. 5.2 seconds behind is Andy White in the Lexus. So the only person who needs tyres and fuel perhaps to last till the end is Mark Palmer. A bit squirmy there, losing a bit of traction. All the way back here, Doug Idle Racing, half a tank and some softs. Not sure if that full Red Sky's off. Kept it together, well done. Well done. Doug Idle Racing all over him. Should be able to get round him at some point. Yeah. Ooh, changed his mind a bit there. Oh, and he's off. This track is horrific, it really is. The guys are doing such a good job. So then, right, Doug Idle, Stealth Racer, being lapped repeatedly, I think. It's... no, he hasn't actually. What's the timer doing there? It's alright anyway. Scott Fenton in 5th. Mark Palmer in the pit. 10 minutes to go. It's got to be super softs and some fuel, I reckon. Interesting to see what happens. Hammer Games out in front still, 14.2 seconds, so he's keeping that gap best he can. TC Idle, 10.5 seconds behind him. Unless something major happens, we might be seeing, or starting to get an idea of the finish. Good job on that livery, a lot of thought and effort went into that. 11 seconds behind in 3rd is the Unforgiven. Super soft, half a tank. And Scott Fenton close behind. And Biggin 6 seconds behind Scott. Scott's on soft. 9.5 minutes. I reckon he's going to be chasing for that 3rd position for sure. Yeah, got a slightly better exit out of the last turn there. Ghosting cars are very confusing. Fifth position, 7 seconds behind Scott. Plenty of fuel and tyre. Mark Palmer, 3.5 seconds behind Andy White. Brand new super softs and plenty of fuel. So I think he's going to be chasing for positions now. Definitely thinking about it. Nice line through there. Stealth Racer, 1 minute 10 behind Mark. Oh, keeps changing, not quite sure. Super softs. He might make them last till the end of the race. Dorado, with all them miles on his Corvette. "20 seconds behind Dogs, Red Sky 86 in the Aston Martin." Everybody doing a brilliant job of being consistent and just plodding along. 7.5 minutes left. Blue flag means give way to faster cars behind you, so he's probably getting lapped by somebody or something. Yeah, he is. So back up to the front, let's check that gap. 13.9, so TC Idle shaved a little bit off, but is it going to be enough? We'll soon see. Super softs on Nick, softs on Darren's, and if you look, he's definitely pushing very hard because he's worn his tyres a bit more than the super softs. Similar fuel, similar. It's a good livery, he's done very well there. Scott Fenton, 11.3 seconds behind Mr. Baldwin in the Porsche, monster Porsche. Looks like it's been through the bus stop as well. Race soft, plenty of fuel. I run out of fuel when I race with fuel because I'm silly. Little inside joke there for Nick. 1, 2, 3 unforgiven. 4.7 seconds. Doing very well, very consistent, and as I keep saying, it is the key. Nearly 4 seconds behind Andy White, Biggin in the Lexus of Love. I do apologise if I've missed incidents and accidents and incidents where people come off the track, because it is quite entertaining, but it's also very, very sad. I remember throwing my control pad years ago when I used to race with my pad out of my window. I was playing on Forza 2 on the Xbox. Yeah. So, just over 5.5 minutes to go. Nick is steaming along. I think he's just got to keep his cool now and drive that car home. He's fending off Darren. Darren is pushing very hard and he is closing that gap, but I think obviously Hammer Games has probably clicked into what's going on and he's trying to keep the pace up a little bit as well. 10 seconds between him, Darren and Scott. Excellent. It's all keeping about the same now, folks. I think everyone's realised that there might be a big final push. And everybody's doing the same. Dogado, it's being lapped and stuff. 4.5 minutes. 4 3/4. We're going to be getting towards the end now, aren't we? Let's have an on board with Nick. Nice throttle control around there. Nice. Very nice. Lovely. Let's check TC Idle through that section. Into second. Nice and tight. Keeps it wide like I do. And then tuck it in. Yeah. Difficult series of corners. Scott Fenton. Ooh, he went tight into that second bit. He's tight around there. Hammer Games coming into the final corner. 120 something mile an hour. 122. Three and a half minutes remain. 46 laps so far, ladies and gentlemen. That's a long time to be racing around this track. A very long time. 16.5 seconds to him and Mr. Baldwin behind. 13.5, sorry. Scott's closed the gap a little bit up to Darren. It's not going to be enough before the end of the race though. Mr. Fenton's got to keep it on the track now and keep that position. The Unforgiven, 2.5 seconds behind Scott Fenton. Into the pebbles, nice and wide, that's what I do. Tuck it in tight, pin it. Scott got a bit of dust there, lovely. Big in, similar line. Good, good. Turn 9 for Nick. Similar speed again. Consistency is the key. He's keeping that 13.5 second gap to him and Baldwin now. Let's just drop slightly there. Nice and tidy. He's getting his wear out of them tyres. He's done well on race super softs. Quarter a tank of fuel. Good judgment. Definitely finish on them tyres with fuel now. Mr. Baldwin's wearing them tyres well. He's obviously going to finish on that. Scott Fenton's still closing that gap slowly but surely behind. Same tyres as Baldwin, soft. The Unforgiven's keeping that guy. They're all pressured, they're all pushing, they're all pressured, they all know what's going on. This is good racing. Good tactics. Andy White. Nearly 9 seconds behind the Unforgiven. Red Sky. Oh, Big Ian! He followed him. I've done that myself. I actually have done that myself. Sometimes when a car in front does differently to what you normally do, for some reason you just automatically follow it. I think it's human error. Genuinely think it is human error. That's gonna... I bet he's kicking himself now. Stealth Racer, 7th. Not had a good race. A few problems. I really did expect to see Doug Idle racing further up the grid with his strategy, with his hards and his fuel. He seemed to go forever on them hards, but obviously this track is unforgiving and it's horrible, and it must have eaten him at some point a few times. And the game still 13.6, well done. 37 seconds remaining, so this will be his last lap, I reckon. Done a brilliant job, absolutely brilliant drive from him. Definitely getting the stewards to check his car afterwards though. TC Idle, again another great drive from him. Kept the gap open behind him and he tried to close it in front. Very good race, very good effort. Came second last time as well, last race, so second again for him. Points being prizes. Scott Fenton, yeah, so first, second, third seems to be in the bag. Hammer Games, last turn, last time. I bet he's happy with that. Nice and clean. Bit of a wander around, waving at people. No flashing the lights at us though. There you go, race winner. Clear by 13.5 seconds in a Subaru. God knows how, but yeah, there you go. TC Idle. Close the gap. Flashy, waving around, lovely. No handbrake, no, but he did better than Nick. Well done, you get points for that. Scott Fenton, nothing, but he's obviously battling. Nice and close. Nice and close. Mark Palmer comes around for the last time in 5th. Done quite good on his fuel and tyres. Any stunts from Mark? No. No, no, no. Big in 86. Good drive, difficult track, mate. 6th position in the bag. Stealth Racer 196, bag 7th. Doug Idle Racing's bag 9th, because he was lapped. And Red Sky in 8th. Well done, boys, well done. Excellent. And there's your victory for Nick Sargent. Well done, buddy. I like your overalls. So that was your round 2 of your ESR Endurance, sponsored by PJ Parcels. I hope you tune in next week. I hope I've done a good enough job, and I hope that my new microphone was better than the microphone from last week. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a lovely week, and see you soon.